Good evening sa ating mga kababayan dito sa Amerika. Good morning sa ating mga kababayan sa Pilipinas. Welcome sa programa On the Air with FACC, Filipino American Cancer Care. My name is Josie Moralidad Zayman. Siyempre ngayong gabi kasama natin ang ating mga kasamahan sa Filipino American Cancer Care. I would like to welcome Ed Logan. Ed, welcome back sa PHLV Radio On the Air with FACC.
Hey Josie, again, it's Friday. It's our weekly show. I'm so excited that tonight I just cannot contain what my emotion, but definitely I'm so happy to be back again to do this show for tonight. So, and to our listener.
And how are you doing now, Ed? Okay na ba yung chemo mo? Tapos na?
No, 2 more to go. Bruises, beaten, but not broken. So we'll fight.
Yes, and we also have a special guest co-host tonight. And last time na interview natin siya dito sa ating radio show, we would like to welcome one of our board of directors, si Kuya Carl Abela. Hi, Kuya Carl.
Hello, how are you all? I'm honored to be here tonight and be able to hear these 3 young men. So I'm ready. I'd like to learn a little bit more about your family and your experience here and where you've been and where you're going now. So.
You know, when I was reading the bio of their father, I realized their father was the same age like my husband.
No.
But anyway, bago natin, before we introduce our special guest tonight, we would like to introduce this person that we are going to talk dito po sa ating radio show. And unfortunately, he passed away. But his legacy will always remain in the hearts of his children and of course, his families and friends. John Romulo Hidalgo San Pedro was a proud father, husband, son, brother, and friend who always spread love and lived his life to the fullest. He was born in Baguio, Philippines on September 14. Oh my goodness. Yeah, my husband's birthday is September 19. 5 days. He was raised alongside his 3 brothers when they all made their way to America one by one. He landed in San Francisco, California in 1975 as a 14-year-old and like many immigrant children had to find his way. And John went through many tough lessons as a teenager and at 16 years old was sent to live in Hawaii with his aunts, uncles, and cousins. Now, Ed, can you please play the slideshow as a tribute para kay John Romulo Hidalgo San Pedro?
Yes. Do I need to do the share?
Yes.
Okay. Where is the button that I can click? I can't see it on the screen right now.
Okay.
Let me just...
While Ed is trying to fix our shared button here, we would like to tell you again some of the information tungkol po kay John Romulo Hidalgo San Pedro. He attended a local high school during the same years when Barack Obama was growing up doon sa may Hawaii, Here he got his first job working as a tailor and even gave dance lessons to make money. Wow, Kuya Carl.
Well, that's
you heard it.
Familiar.
Yes, the American dream.
youngest, huh? John Paul, then
John
Julian.
Paul is very quiet.
I
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know your daddy? Oh my
He's
gosh.
mysterious.
Your
What
daddy
was that?
likes to take pictures,
I
just
know.
like me. All Filipinos, they
Yeah.
love
You know what's so funny
pictures.
is like for some reason we never wanted to take pictures. And now it's like, especially like he would always want to take a picture at a restaurant and things like that. And we'd always get kind of annoyed, but now it's like he just gave us so many memories with those and like
Now you
after,
appreciate
yeah, yeah. And then
everything
we started taking more
that he
pictures
did.
ourselves,
Yeah.
So it's like it's important to capture these times and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I think Josie, it's on the Filipino blood is picture taking. Sometimes when we go out, when we go out, even before we order our food, she would ask the waiter or waitress to take a picture of us.
Mm-hmm.
We tried, but he's gonna switch computers.
Okay. You know, Kuya Carl, why I love taking pictures?
Why?
Because I always think about getting old. And we are all gonna get old. And I said to myself, if I'm going to die, my families, my friends, they will see my pictures. And if I'm going to have a dementia or whatever it is, I
Snap the
have some
pictures.
pictures. Like, I love flowers, right, Kuya Carl?
Oh,
And I guess
yes.
John, the father of these three brothers, I
Mhm.
guess he also wanted to leave that memory to his loved ones.
Yeah.
Yes.
We didn't understand it at the time, We're like, why are you always taking pictures? And
Uh-huh.
then now it's like,
And millennials, they don't like
yeah,
that. They don't like pictures.
yeah, everyone tries to avoid the pictures. But now it's so much worth it. It's like, it's the biggest treasure that we have.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And can you imagine when me and your dad were growing up, our camera is the Kodak, the
Yeah.
disposable thing.
I remember those.
Yeah.
So you're all lucky, guys.
Yeah.
Very
And
lucky.
your dad, when I was watching that video, he seemed to be like a very healthy person, doing
Yeah.
yoga.
He was never
Yes.
sick, like we don't remember him ever getting sick, and then it's just like it happened so fast. So it was just like shocking. It's still shocking.
Mhm.
Yeah, that-
Okay. Now let's move on. Ed, are you ready?
Yes, so I think
Okay.
I'm good, and you
We
shared
did not
a screen.
even introduce them yet, Ed, but now
Yeah.
we are talking. And
Yes.
you have the floor to introduce our special guest tonight.
Okie dokie. So ready? We'll do. Okay. Our first guest, of course, one of the sibling will be Jonathan. He's the eldest among the three brothers, a media and a tech entrepreneur who was named to be the Forbes 30 under 30 list in 2014. He's the co-founder of the Elite Daily, an online media publication for millennials, which was acquired by the Daily Mail in 2015, and is now the co-founder of the Wing Alpha, an emerging telecom company based in New York City. And then, of course, the second is Julian, an entrepreneur as well, a writer who got his start as a founding member of the Elite Daily, where he was the senior sports editor covering events all over the country. And in 2017, he co-founded Culture Hub, a platform and a community made to inspire the next generation of creatives. And among the youngest of the three is John Paul, called JP, the youngest sibling, is also an entrepreneur and a merchandising expert who has worked with some of the most successful streetwear brands and entertainers in the industry. And these three brothers is excited to be part of the Young Ambassador for FACC as the digital and marketing team. Please welcome our
All
guest.
right. Now
very
let's
excited.
hear them. Julian, would you like to greet our viewers and listeners right now? You go first.
Yeah, sure.
Pasensya na, ha? The
Hello,
eldest
everybody.
one is going to be the next and the youngest one.
Okay. Hello, everybody. It's good to be here. I hope everyone waking up with the Philippines has a nice day. and you could definitely learn from our conversation today.
Mm-hmm. Do you understand Filipino?
Unfortunately, no, I do not. But like,
Mm.
it's
We know when it's time to
life
eat.
goals.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's
I know
one
it's
thing
good.
that your dad was not able to master
He
from his
tried. He
kids.
tried.
You
Yeah.
tried. What Filipino words do you know, Jonathan?
Oh, I can't say those on the radio show.
I know
Ah!
that. Okay. How about
Basura.
John Paul?
Hello, everybody. Happy to be here, and I'm happy to be a part of this community. And I want to contribute, and I want me and my brothers to contribute as much as we can to this. And yeah, I look forward to telling my dad's story, and yeah, hopefully learning more and doing more for the cause.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're super excited to be with you guys. I think this is definitely going to help us, feel like we're validating my dad's aspirations and
Mhm.
helping more people along the way. So it's like a really good opportunity for us. So we really appreciate everything, you guys
Mhm.
willing to work
You
with us
know
on.
why I was nervous before? Now I realize, Kuya Carl and Ed. I'm not nervous going to the White House, covering the White
Yes.
House for so many years. You know why I'm nervous right now? Because these three kids are also into the business of media, digital media, right?
Yes.
So I have to be very careful.
No,
We're not like those other guys,
yeah, we're not the two kind of guys. We're very relaxed with it all.
Okay. My first question goes to Julian. I think it was you who discovered FACC,
Mhm.
right? How
Yeah.
did you discover the Filipino American Cancer Care?
Well, so kind of after everything happened to my father, and we had time to kind of get away from everything. What always stuck in my head was just like his whole like mission that he was kind of setting on to drive across the country and raise awareness funds and really help with the mental health side of things that cancer patients go through. So literally just searched up Filipino cancer, and you guys came up at the top, and I started reading about you guys, and it was just like really kind of hitting all the points, and especially in the Filipino community, it's kind of underserved. So yeah, I contacted Edward, and I didn't hear from him for about a month, so I kind of was like planning to follow up eventually, but it kind of slipped my mind. And then yeah, he texted me back like in the middle of the night, maybe a couple weeks ago, and we had a great conversation, and it was like super inspiring to just talk to him. And I even told him, like, when I was speaking to him, like I felt like the same energy that my father had about his mission is kind of the same energy that he has towards the FACC. So yeah, it's like I feel like it's definitely a godsend that we found you guys, and we can't wait to really get involved.
Yeah. And what was your reaction, Jonathan and John Paul, when Julian told you that he communicated with the Filipino American Cancer Care?
Well, first he was so excited. I thought we like won the lotto or something, because
Yeah.
this pumped up, energetic, and excited for some things in quite some time. So it just like made us really excited to meet you guys and to be able to collaborate. And like obviously supporting cancer awareness and mental health around this was important to us, but to find the intersection where we're able to help the Filipino American community and people in the Philippines as well. That really like fills our dream, because growing up here in the States, we didn't always like really grow up closely with the Filipino community. So it's been definitely like an aspiration of ours as we grow older to reconnect and understand our culture a lot better.
Yeah.
I have a question for John Paul. In terms of when we're trying to educate our listener, but at the same time really show the human side of the person, especially your dad. So what is the favorite food of your dad? Because I love food, so that's the way in our show I always ask that question. So JP, do you know your dad, and of course you guys do as well?
I was literally thinking about that today.
Man, let me think. When I think back, I'm trying to think of what was our favorite food that he cooked for us, or what was his favorite. I don't know. He just cooked what we wanted. But
Oh, okay.
we always make adobo, really.
Adobo. Okay,
That
cool.
was the
Chicken katsu, loco moco.
Yeah, he made a lot
Uh,
of Hawaiian food.
Sometimes we'd get like the cheap cuts of the chicken, so it was like ankle
Oh yeah, he would come back from like the market in the Bronx, and it would be all like chicken necks. I was like, "What is this?" He's like, "I'm gonna make adobo," but it worked.
It was still good.
Oh, it's good.
Mhm.
Cool.
So you really
and
like Filipino food?
Oh, absolutely.
Do you eat rice?
Come on.
Historically, yes.
Yeah,
It's like B12 over here, you know?
that's how me and Julian got tall. We kept
Yeah, you know?
Mhm. You know, I noticed your dad is very healthy, masculine, and on the video, on the pictures, I noticed also that he is just a happy person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very.
You know?
He,
Yeah, literally. Yeah, go ahead, Johnny.
he would always be able to like light up a room, and it's kind of inspiring to us because sometimes we're a little bit more reserved than he would be in certain situations. So it's definitely inspiring. But like he, even when he was getting sick, we would like catch him like trying to change his metaphysical state, like dancing around on top of the couch playing bongos, and we were just like, what's up with this guy, And now that we kind of realized everything that happened, he was just fighting so hard to make himself positive, and he never, obviously no one ever wants to be a burden, but he just would always make sure, no matter, even if the roof was burning, like we wouldn't even realize it sometimes, just because he was always so upbeat.
Mhm. And I guess that's one qualities of the Filipino people. Filipino people are really happy people.
Very happy. Yeah.
Mhm.
Very, very
Kuya
warm
Carl,
people.
what would you like to ask?
I
Mga bata?
I noticed on the video that he enjoys singing, of course, and dancing. I mean, it's again, I think we inherit it somewhere because most Filipinos that we all know are love to dance and love to sing. And there's a part there where he's singing with a band. Does he play any instrument?
He bought me
Right.
my first guitar, and he taught me a few licks, and then he was playing bongos, and he has tambourine, so he's always musically inclined. But he would just go into any room, and no matter what the song was, he would try to do karaoke, and sometimes it made us like blush, but he never cared what anyone thought.
He also sung in the church choir, and like every time he sung, just my whole family just cracking up in the pew, just like trying to.
I know this is
so funny. So funny.
Well, can you tell us that story when he first, decided to sing in a church?
So yeah, when we first moved to New York, there was literally a church, right across the street. So it was just we've always been a family that goes to church together every Sunday. So, we went there, and we really liked the people, and yeah, he had the opportunity to just join the choir, and get really involved with the church and all the events and things like that. But yeah, that was the first time he ever did like actual singing, and he would get solos sometimes, and it would just be like. So at this church, me and JP were actually altar serving too. So we were like very involved.
Altar boys.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, and then and then he'd be singing, and it's just like, I don't know, like no matter what, we're just gonna think our dad singing in the choir is funny for some reason, So it was just like really hard to like keep our composure and stuff, but it was awesome.
Yeah, we'd be at church. Dad would be on the choir singing, and like we're giggling. And then my two brothers are like altar servers, but they're both big, so they look like the priest's bodyguards. So the whole family was always involved. And JP and Julian, so they were like the bouncers for the community.
Yeah, the altar gown was like up to our knees, so you could just like totally see our legs. It was just like, all right,
And Josie, another characteristics and qualities that I saw with their dad, he really carried himself wearing a pretty good style. So did you guys pick up sense of style from your dad? Because he's really like, I was like, wow, all those pictures that I saw.
Who is more like a daddy here? Is it Jonathan? Is it John Paul or Julian?
I mean, all different parts of us were more like our dad in different ways,
Yeah. So what traits of your dad were you able to, get from him?
For me, I'm gonna go first so I can take the best one. I think I got a humor, because
his sense of humor.
Yeah, his sense
of humor. So
you
inherited that sense of humor.
Yeah, exactly. So he would always just be like messing with me and my friends, and he just never took himself too seriously, and I think that especially helped him, when he was going through treatment and kind of all that stuff, he was still like laughing his ass off and just like enjoying himself.
Mm-hmm. What about you, JP?
I think the biggest thing I took away from my dad was his sense of him being able to like allow me to be to because I didn't finish school first of all, but me and him were the same in the sense of we were the bad ones in our family. So I think to grow and figure it out on my own without like constricting me as much, it gave me the ability to become
I'll answer from it. He got the sarcasm from my father, so
I will also answer it for the three of you. He looks like the younger version of your dad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
So I
guys.
I got the looks, so I don't know about you guys.
There you go.
yeah, that's true.
And then because I know when you guys tell us about
Wait a
your
minute,
dad-
Ed. We should ask Jonathan.
I know.
What traits of your dad you were able to inherit?
Aside from the looks,
Yes.
I mean, my parents both raised us, having that entrepreneurial spirit. So
Yeah.
taught us to never like settle in an environment and not be afraid to take a risk. And actually, risk is a part of the process of finding something that you care for. So yeah, just like not being afraid to go into a different environment is the biggest thing that I picked up from him.
Yeah. And then I saw that you guys move a lot, based on the video that we played a while ago.
Gypsy.
What are the different memories that you guys can share? Because that is like number one, moving a lot in different states, number one, give you a competitive advantage in other, compared to other kids growing up here in America, So share with those particular, experience.
Yeah, your earliest memories.
So we would move all the time, and it doesn't matter how big the house was, how many rooms there were. We'd all be together on a laptop, just all huddled up, and
In like a cubicle.
yeah. So the rooms and stuff were just like all together, and I think obviously moving around was tough, but it just really brought us super close together, especially me and my brothers. Like I couldn't imagine like being having a closer relationship with them, and I think just like us having to depend on each other more taught us how to get rid of or get through all like the dumb personality issues that we kind of grow with, and just be able to really work together and bond together on another level.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Kuya Carl.
Yeah, your family, your dad and mom seems to really have this entrepreneur spirit. I mean, they're always doing something. There's something, if it's not for business, for themselves. If you went to teach dancing, and I know dancing doesn't really make any money, but just the joy of doing it, amazing.
Girls in dancing, so I think
amazing. But just by looking at that short video, I could tell how your family, your dad especially, full of life. I mean, amazing. Yeah. Just a beautiful, beautiful, happy person.
Mm-hmm.
Happy man. And you're right. It probably lightened the whole room when he's there.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, my next question then, what was it like for you when you found out that your dad was diagnosed with cancer?
And well, I remember because so I was having kidney failure at the time, so I was at dialysis, and so it was just me and my brother in New York. I think my mom and JP were both in LA, and my father was in the Philippines, and I was like going through a hard time myself, and then he picked me up, and I could just tell something was wrong, and it's just like when we got in the elevator, he told me, like I just like was beyond shock. I was just crying the whole way home, and like that was one of the hardest moments, even with everything else he went to. Just that moment of finding out was just like the scariest thing, because obviously you don't know anything that's going on, and the fact that he was in the Philippines made us like more stressed. But yeah, that's why us being like so close together was like really just benefited everyone's kind of mindset. It was just like, we knew we wanted to really help him recover. We wanted him to come back to New York and to get the best treatment possible. But but yeah, that was like really a shocking moment. You know, I'll never forget it.
Feels like it's the second worst moment, right? Because it's like where
Yeah.
it goes straight to the end of the meter, you know, and just that's all you can like fathom. So it's like that's just as bad as, you know, anything else.
Mm-hmm. What was
And
the reaction of your mother?
Ooh, my mom's a bit, you know, she's a bit she was
She's a
always
fighter.
hysterical. Yeah, I mean, it's not easy, you know. So just the shock and you know us trying not to freak out in front of him to freak him out more, you know. So it's like
Mm-hmm.
everyone together at school, and then you know you go in the room,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on? So
John Paul, how did you comfort your dad?
Well, I flew back before COVID, and I saw him, you know, and he was getting treatment, and he was going through, I think it was his first chemo treatment. I was there, you know, and then I had to go back to LA from work, and then COVID hit. So, you know, I couldn't go back because it was such a delicate household. My brother was sick, and my dad was sick, and you know, there was no real information on COVID at that time. So, you know, I was literally on FaceTime with him all the time, though,
all day,
every day. So,
and he ordered us food every day, you know.
Yeah,
so
you know,
he made sure we were.
I would order my dad all kinds of things on Amazon to keep him busy. I think I got him this book that was like 1,000 stops throughout the United States, and I think that's something that fueled his resurgence and his energy to try to do the trip across America.
And then
Mm-hmm.
just you know, a while ago when we talk about how his personality, but having now diagnosed with cancer, you guys probably see the changes of his personality, and you know, what what are the first thing, I mean, what are the things that you guys try to like work with him in order to really see that happy side of him, right? Because I think this is really a lot of the guys that I kind of try to like, you know, I went through to that phase as well. They didn't want to accept, you know, cancer at that time, didn't want to have any help at all. I just don't want to be burdened, you know, to my family. What are the things that you guys do in order to really get into him, to get that emotion sharing, that kind of stuff? Because that is really an important factor when a cancer patient being diagnosed, because some people will have acceptance right away, denial, or really it will change, you know, drastically the person. So
Yeah.
how you guys see that
And
when it's really the personality
and
change with
Ed,
your dad?
on this article, you know, he wrote an article, remember?
Yeah.
Is it journey or is it destination? He
Yes.
mentioned something, or he wrote something like, the pain, I remember the pain. I could not eat, swallow, sleep was an option. I could not speak. I started to lose weight, had to have surgery in Makati Med. He was in the Philippines when he was diagnosed with a cancer. I was out of it. I could not work, so I decided to shut down the business. I had to tell my family.
So I was actually with him in the Philippines when he diagnosed his you know the tongue growth, and that was definitely the hardest part because yeah, they you know had to cut a piece of the tongue and they couldn't swallow, so he had to get a feeding tube, and you know he expresses himself through laughter, you know, speaking, singing, food, you know. So it kind of like stripped him of like a lot of really vital things to his personality, and so it was pretty dark during that initial time. And you know, obviously he didn't want to be a burden, so you know he was just very kind of quiet about things. And you know, just being in lockdown in New York, we're just watching YouTube all day, right? And you know, he starts to see these like you know YouTubers doing these cross country trips and like you know different survivors for different causes. And you know, me and Julian are with him, and you know, we're like, Dad, like you could do this too. And so he's like, oh, okay, whatever. And then you know, slowly but surely, he's like, son, like you know, I think I could do this. And then, son, what do you think about this logo? Son, what do you think about this car? Son, what do you think about this? You know, etc. And he kept going, and you know, and it's we have our businesses too, so we try to you know we kind of give him some help and you know help him develop these things. And but that process allowed him to express his pain without feeling like it's a burden on people and reconnect with people he hadn't spoke to in years and not feel like negative about it. So you know finding the outlet for him to you know express his emotions but do it in a positive way where he's trying to you know help other people you know also you know that are going through this was like the biggest change. And it's terrible to have lost them so quickly, but for like the last, was it, Joy, 6 to 9 months or so, he was really
more, maybe a year and a half, dude.
He was like really having a lot of fun. He was like planning his
Yeah, he was
like 10 boxes from Amazon every day. He's like, so look at these lights, look at this, and
and actually on the article that he wrote, right? So he actually described his interaction even in the hospital. Okay, that's the thing that I really see that personality again coming back by not giving up.
Yeah.
I think by spending with you guys and really having that kind of discussion, I think that shows there that the hospital, the community that take care of him, he said, and they notice it. And that's why I felt like when you guys shared this article, I kind of sensed he was like telling the story.
To everyone, the doorman,
Julian, those are the things that I kind of saw.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Person he would go past.
Yeah, literally.
So and that's really him, just talking to every single person.
Yeah.
So we're just happy that even though it had to be what it is, it's like at least he got that time again to just do whatever the hell he wanted. That was our thing. It's like,
Mm-hmm. Kuya Carl, do you have questions?
Well, I am, first I'm really saddened that, all of this thing is no longer there. But I'm just happy to know that in spite of this thing that's happening to him, he still enjoy his life and continue on with the thing that he liked to do most, which is being with your family and talking to people, as you said, people that he doesn't even know, but he's just a life of the party. Let's put it that way. He is, I can tell he is. He's a very, very joyful person.
And the thing too with when he was getting like really motivated and like waking up early to work on the car to go see a friend or whatever it was, it's like he was like fighting so hard that we almost started to forget like how sick he was, so he was just like being his regular self, so it was like almost just like, obviously we knew the situation, but you almost forget with just the way he was just living life. What's crazy is literally 2 days before he passed, he played an entire golf tournament with a bunch of his buddies he didn't see in a super long time, and the tournament was actually like a Filipino golf association in New York that started, maybe like 10 years ago. So it was just like, the timing of it was just, really crazy. And it's just like, even, so obviously he moved us to New York, but he actually moved back to the Philippines maybe, when was it, guys? Like 2014, 2013? 15? Okay, yeah. So he moved back there and he got to really just like, be a young man again, really, and then Jonathan was out there with him, and they were having some great times,
Being a lot in BGC.
The memories.
Now, my next questions then, are there things you wish you had done differently to extend the life of your father?
I mean, that goes without saying, but it's like at the same time, you can't really like dwell on like woulda, coulda and stuff. And it's like, obviously we want to learn more about exactly, what happened to him and raise awareness and help others. But, like sometimes just being in that mindset really kind of just brings you down, so obviously there's a lot of things we could have done, but we also did a lot of things like positive, just being there with him, laughing with him. It was some really tough times, but we still found like a way to put a positive kind of spin on it,
How about you, Jonathan? I'm sorry, Ed.
Sure.
I mean, there was always interesting things we'd see online about alternative diets and, some, different just lifestyle changes you could make to, impact the effects of everything that's going on. But as much as we wanted to do that, it was even a bigger fear of ours to like have him live not as who he really wants to be. Because, for him to like really change, what he does every day and how he does it every day, it's like he would have the beginning, you know. So as much as we wanted to tell him to do this and do that, it's like we just wanted him to be happy, you know. So it got really tricky.
I think I kind of sense that your dad will probably doesn't want you guys to regret anything. And for all our listeners who probably been affected by cancer, either their own father being recently diagnosed or any loved ones, what you guys can share based on your experience with your dad. I know it's there's no single recipe to address this, but what are the lessons learned that you could guys share to our listeners?
For me, the last year of the lockdown and us being, even though JP wasn't there physically, like we're just so super connected with everything that was going on with Julian and my dad, that gave us the opportunity to like really communicate with him a lot and let him know how we felt and understand how he feels. And I think if there was a coulda, woulda, shoulda, like, oh, I wish we would have said these things or that things, I think we would have a different mindset. But the fact that we knew exactly how he felt and he knew exactly how we all felt about each other, that brings us a lot of peace, because there's not like unsaid words. Like, we know how much we love each other, we know how much we're proud of each other. So that's like really the most important part for me.
Mm-hmm. JP?
Yeah, no, I agree with what Johnny said. It's just, yeah, I mean, when I look back at it, I wish I could have been there, but it's, I think the way it all went down was, it was tough, but I think them being together was good.
It's okay.
Yeah, I mean, JP was with us the whole time, and we were connected. And like you said, he was always getting my dad just some new thing to try to eat, or some new thing from Amazon. So it's like it's a blessing to have such a close family like we do, because I know a lot of people might not have the same. So so my advice would be, if you're lucky enough to have,
we didn't like grow apart, but like everyone was living apart, kind of doing their own lives and things, and maybe less, like 50% less communication, even though we were still really close. So for us to like lock really closely back in, and like as much as that was a curse of everything that happened, not only to our dad, but just everything that's going on in the world, we really got like a golden nugget out of it, of being able to like refortify our relationship.
So how would you like him to be remembered?
Well, I want to make a movie about him, so that's down the line. It's gonna be called John. So
John.
I think the thing they always instilled in us, just growing up, and even when we're going through hard times, is just like, we have to help as many people as possible, because it's not just karma, but when you help other people will help you. And even when you're going through the worst times, helping other people makes you forget about your own stuff.
That's right.
Yes.
And your dad was a very helpful person.
Yes. When I saw the article again, I read it.
And the pictures, you saw it.
Yes. I'm telling you, like the strangers that he just got to that kid.
Yeah.
And that's why it's just really personal to me, because those people who believe on any strangers, that make a big difference for a lifetime. And
Exactly.
I want to thank you guys personally. It's not easy to share the grief and processing it, healing. Tell JP, I feel you. I feel you, Julian and Jonathan. And I just want you guys to know from the bottom of our heart, we appreciate your courage by sharing to our listener tonight, because, that's why we didn't want to prepare any questions, and really just want to have this kind of like a coffee table, like talking. It's just a simple, getting to know you guys. And I felt like we're almost now a family. And I felt like to Josie, when I was like, I cannot contain as well, telling, your vision and your dad, I said, oh my goodness, this is what we're like looking for, the gap. And I know at the right moment, the right time, I didn't know. I was like almost 1 month. I did not like answer that stuff because we're so busy. Mm-hmm. Sometimes reflection requires us to understand what are the things going on with our organization. And I felt, Julian, that was the right moment. I normally don't text 1 o'clock in the morning. Only Josie will text each other. But I felt compelled to text you. And I think this is now a good starting point for your dad to really continue the legacy
Mhm. I'm
live.
sure if he's around, he's going to be very proud of raising children like you, who's, you're making a big impact right now for the Filipino community.
Thank
And
you.
you know it, Kuya Carl, right? What can you say?
Well, I tell you, it's really a blessing that he was in the Philippines, because it's very obvious that his heart and a lot of things is in the Philippines, and when all of this thing happened, he was there, and in spite of what's going on in his life, he still have the time to enjoy himself. As you said, a couple of days before, he even went there and tried to do something. I mean, helpful. And when I saw the picture, your dad was holding that little boy. I mean, it's just my heart.
We try to find him all the time. We're talking to his friends
And
back
he
then.
has so many pictures with him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we also wanted to thank you guys as well for creating this platform for us and helping us be the launch point for everything that we're going to create for my dad. And even though you guys are going through your own struggles, seeing your guys' energy reminds us so much of our dad, and like that's what makes us so excited. It's like the energy that you guys give us for this, so we really appreciate it.
Okay. Now, before we end this interview, I just would like to ask you one more questions. Actually, I still have a lot, but we don't have enough time. And I guess I'm going to reschedule another interview with the San Pedro brothers. Now, what was your dad most proud of about his life?
The thing he would tell me, son, I'm so proud you're working with your brothers.
True.
Every day, son, I'm just so happy to see you guys doing your thing. You're working with your brothers, you're teaching them, they're working hard. So
Did he ask you about what is that Elite Daily?
for the first 2 years, he had no idea what we were doing, and then he went in the office and he saw these people. He's like, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. How about you, JP?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
What was your dad most proud of about his life?
I think what Johnny said, I second that, and also his dancing and his singing.
And Julian?
Man, it's crazy because those pictures you sent, those were so many different chapters of his life, and he had so many different accomplishments and moments. But I would definitely have to say it's not to brag, I would say it'd be us. He always told us how much he loved us and how proud he was of us, and he was a father, but he was someone that was really almost like a brother too. He was just so humorous and funny, and he would hang out with our friends.
Yeah,
he's with our friends. They're like, what are you like? Oh, okay, cool. And they're just like, yeah, your dad's telling us all these crazy stories about when you were little kids. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever, But it's man, he was he was more than a dad for sure. He was just someone that's someone that you could, there was never that weird kind of tension or just feeling anything. We could always go to him for anything. And yeah, I know how proud he was of us, and I'm happy that we got to make him proud, and we want to continue to do that, so we're not going to stop.
Okay. How would your father, by the way, describe you?
Oh my God. Tangkat.
Tangkat. Okay, the tallest one.
Yeah.
He would think we're hardworking. We didn't really always take the traditional route. It wasn't something that we grew up in. And even if we didn't know what we were doing, we would just work harder than anyone else. And that's the only thing that's been able to, push us through and help us find any type of success is just, just being willing to put in the time and the work and, do things that make you happy.
Mm-hmm. And JP?
Yeah, I think I agree with what Johnny said. I think it's just he never forced us to do anything, and I think he just kind of he led us in the right direction, but never forced us. He was not like a conventional father like you know, he was never like be a nurse. He was just like, oh, you know,
There's or a lawyer, a doctor, right? You know, like giving you guys the freedom to choose. Yeah.
none of us finished college, and he wanted us to be there until we figured out what we could do on our own. And if we didn't need that, he didn't force us to do it because he believed in what we could do on our own. So,
Even before we believed in ourselves, both my mom and dad always believed in us and made us feel uncomfortable almost by how much they would like, you know, encourage us.
Okay. Now, before we end this radio show, we have a special song for the three brothers. And our young ambassador, Ed, help me here. Please introduce our young ambassador.
Sure. So Charmaine Cabatuando is one of our young ambassador. She's gonna be starting freshman in college this coming fall. Actually, she just moved in Richmond, in Virginia Commonwealth University, and her mom is our vice president of community events, Maggie Catuando. So please welcome Maggie Cabatuando.
Awesome.
Okay, just a moment, guys, because I have to look. I have to look.
And she actually recently helped us as well doing the initiative partnership with Unified Maryland, helping the Christmas cards for the child kids with cancer that we're gonna donate and share some of the encouragement in the Philippines as well here in the United States. So Charmaine always performs singing in our virtual events. You know, during the COVID-19, we have to be very creative of doing our fundraising. So as part of our programming and events, she always sings and really donate her talent and time to this worthy cause. So we're really excited that
Okay.
she is really.
Here we go with Charmaine Cabatuando.
Back when I was a child, before life removed all innocence,
All right. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, Charmaine Cabatuando,
Thank you.
one of our young ambassadors. Now, we're going to end this show, but we would like to get some messages from our special guest again, from Jonathan Francis.
Yeah, for all the listeners, we're really excited to support the FACC, and I hope that with our backgrounds, we're able to kind of bring this to a wider audience and a younger audience, wherever we can kind of help evolve and grow the platform. But yeah, again, thank you guys all for supporting the FACC. It's a tremendous opportunity for us to be with you guys, and we really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah. And JP?
Yeah, I'm just happy to be a part of it, and we're coming from different industries, so in whatever ways we can contribute, we will. And for me, that means some sort of clothing situation. So yeah, whatever we can do to continue to spread, the awareness and continue our father's legacy. We're
And
excited.
lastly, Julian.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. We're beyond excited to, really make an impact with FACC. And we're looking forward to meeting more of you, young ambassadors out there.
Mm-hmm. And we are looking forward to seeing you here on October 23. And we hope you're going to walk on the runway. Okay. And Kuya Carl, thank you for being our special guest co-host tonight.
My pleasure. What an inspiring story, and also what your father is really, really a very family man.
Thank you so much.
Yes, should be very
Great to
proud.
meet you, Carl.
Mm-hmm. And Ed?
All right. Again, as I told you guys, this is an amazing story. We can't wait to continue show how we evolve and transform FACC through their talents. And we're so proud of you guys that you accepted our invitation to be a part of this organization. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Again, on behalf of the Filipino American Cancer Care, thank you for watching and listening to us on PHLV Radio on the air with FACC.